Cyber Reapers. Hello, Cyber Reapers. So, tonight or today, whenever, wherever you are, I'd like to talk about a book. The book for this week is The Many Half-Filled Lives of Sam Sylvester by Maya MacGregor. And this book really spoke to me. It really made me feel seen. I'm so glad I found it. Because I was looking specifically for disability reads, considering it's Disability Pride Month, or at least, it won't be on Friday technically. Anyway, July for America, it's Disability Pride Month, so I wanted to specifically find some reads. Do I say reads? I wanted to find some books for you, just to recommend, So, I really connected to this book quite a bit, and I'll get into why, but first, let me just kind of talk about the premise a little bit. So the book, it's a young adult book, it's contemporary, and it's got mystery and a little bit of thriller elements into it. So, Sam Sylvester is our main character. They're non-binary, they use they-them pronouns. I love that so much in of itself. I think actually this might be the first book I found with a non-binary main character who uses they-them that I've actually read, which is a little odd for me considering I use they-them, but it's super cool though that I found this book. I'm just so happy. So Sam, they-them, has been a victim of a hate crime from back where they are from, so in order to start fresh, Sam and their father moved to Oregon, specifically Astoria, and it's fun because I'm pretty sure that's the same city that one of my friends is from. Anyway, they moved to Astoria to start fresh, start over. But the house that Sam and their dad moved into hasn't been inhabited since a teenager died there about like a few decades back. And from what everybody in town says, it's a fairly small town, everybody says it was a tragic accident. Specifically, he died from an allergic reaction. Billy, the kid who died in that house, died from an allergic reaction. He was very, very, very allergic to peanuts. But everybody knew it, and he was super careful, so Sam thought it was a little weird that it would still somehow happen. But yeah, Sam learns that the room that they are living in now was the same exact room where Billy died. So, as Sam is the new kid in town, and goes to school and tries to tries to get used to being new and fit in, or at least find the place they want to be. They also start investigating Billy's death and find that maybe it's not as it seems, at least. So that's kind of your premise, going in. So Sam has like a particular interest in kids or teenagers who didn't make it to adulthood. It's and it was like the interest became even more solidified after Sam experienced a hate crime that was nearly fatal. And so Sam has an interest already in kids who died, as a way of kind of memorializing them, honoring them, respecting them, and also kind of just having that sort of shared bond of having that near-death experience and wondering if they will make it to adulthood, ones that was already in Sam's like recorded notebook, where there's like snippets of newspaper clippings and information about like each of these cases of kids, teenagers who died for various reasons. And so Sam had a bit of information on Billy already, but Sam meets a teenager who lives nearby, and her name is Shep. So like those two really bond over what happened to Billy. They both want to know. They want to investigate that because they feel like there's more there than what the adults are admitting. And yeah, so just in terms of like representation, also I really want to say that this book just made me feel so much at home. The non-binary aspects, like the Sam's thoughts and experiences on gender and their like how they wear clothes, binding in particular, and just their experiences in relation to gender was very I feel like hit close to home for me, as someone who's also non-binary and uses they them and also binds. Is that the term? I mean the verb. It's a binder, so I guess you would it's you bind. Anyway, I don't know, I just do it. I have a binder. I put it on sometimes, you know. But yeah, so just experiences like that, and also just Sam's trauma and the way that they react to the world based on certain things, you know, triggering them. That feels it felt very real to me. It felt like I was reading some of my own experiences on the page, and so that was very healing, I think. Yeah. And then also, in addition, Sam is queer. Like, I'm trying to remember specifically what they said. I think they said they were pan, but I'm not gonna put words in their mouth. So they're non-binary, they're queer, and they also have autism. So a lot of like all of that relates to how they see the world and how they interact with the world and how they react to the world. And so like things like having a lot of people paying attention to Sam was very like made them feel uneasy, and just needing social battery time, and the way that they communicate, or the way that they think about like eye contact and stuff like that was that very much reached me as well. And I'm not gonna say, I don't know how an autistic person would react to those instances, but I'm currently waiting on a diagnosis, or a potential diagnosis I should say, because some of my family suspects I might have autism. And if I'm being honest, the more that I look into experiences that like autistic people have, the more I'm going, yeah, that sounds like me. A lot of that sounds like me. And so I kind of feel like, well, I hope that the diagnosis reflects actually what is the case, you know. But I'm a little concerned because with dissociative identity disorder, I definitely have that. I knew for several years before anybody else did, and that's not usual from what I hear for DID. But I knew long before anybody else did, and so when I told other people, it came as a surprise because I was so used to making myself look like a singlet, like a person without DID. And because I just gotten so used to getting my facial expressions to look like, one person's set of facial expressions, our demeanor, our everything, to where no one suspected anything, and to where I had to explain to, like, medical professionals, like, here are my symptoms, I'm pretty sure it's this, and they just went, yep, that sounds right. I'm a little worried, though, that because I am uncertain, I don't know enough about what, I'm not sure if I am autistic, and because of that uncertainty, I'm a little worried that the way I come off as in a public setting versus a private setting where I'm more comfortable and I'm not masking as much. Is masking only I should maybe not use that term if I don't know if it's only applied to certain neurodivergent situations. I still say masking in when it comes to dissociative identity disorder, making myself look like one person or one identity, whatever. Because I think it fits, but the way that I present in public, though, is definitely different than in private, because I feel a lot more comfortable in private with people I'm comfortable with. But even so, in public, there's some things that I just don't notice that I do until somebody points them out, and then I go, oh yeah, that isn't normal. Oops. But yeah, it's just, there's so much, I put so much control over my mannerisms and behavior and everything that I don't really notice it bothering me anymore, like it maybe used to. So I'm not inhibited by whatever, however different I might be. I just accommodate it. If I need social battery time to recharge, I go to my room and be by myself for a while. If I need, if I am in an overstimulating space where there's a bunch of people talking, and for whatever reason they're able to listen to all the cross conversations with each other at a single table, and there's, it's a bar with lots of alcohol-y smells and bad food and or greasy food, I should say, and televisions just all over the walls everywhere playing different things, and there's music and loudness. If I'm in a space like that, I can't be there for very long, and I know that, so I just leave. I don't really want to be there for very much anyway. So anything that feels like a limitation doesn't really feel like a limitation to me at this point. I just go with it. And I'm a little concerned that based on the diagnostic criteria thing and the tests that I took, that it's mostly looking for, or mostly judging people based on how much it affects their life that they notice, or I should say how much it negatively affects their life. For me, though, I have a very positive experience with the ID now that I have a healthy system, and I'm a little worried that that carries through to other things that might affect my mind, and I just don't notice. And if I don't notice, then I'm feeling like, okay, anyway, will my diagnostic person notice? And so, anyway, all of this to say, I really, really, really connected with Sam. So, yeah, I don't know what that means in terms of anything related to my mind and how it works and such, but I'm really glad that I read Sam recently. I think it was very healing for me, so, yeah. And I hope it's healing for autistic people as well, reading Sam, especially autistic kids or teenagers, So, yeah. Yeah, alright. Anyway, sorry about all that. You didn't need to know about all that, but I feel like this is part of this is part of me engaging with the text, and so I'm hoping that encourages other people to engage with books as well, to really think about how it affects you and what it makes you think about. So that's kind of why I go off on these tangents sometimes. Hopefully it's not too bothersome, and it's just me talking, Anyhow, alright, so that's, yeah, and I think I mentioned there's a lot of diversity in this book, in terms of like the cast is diverse. They feel like real people to me. It feels like a real small town. And Sam's father, I particularly loved Sam's father just as much as like all the teenagers in the book loved Sam's father. The author really knew. Yeah, like teenagers love cool parents or cool friends' parents, you know. So that really read through. I was going, yep, Sam's dad is amazing. But yeah, Sam's dad has dealt with not the same sort of problems as Sam, but enough of like similar problems in order to understand that in order to be able to fine-tune his wavelength to match Sam's in terms of like their thinking or their how they behave, you know. So I just love that, you know. And Sam's dad, Junius, that's his name. So Junius is a single father and asexual aromantic, I'm sorry. And he's black. He grew up in, I think he said, in sort of the Washington D.C. area, if I remember right. And he just like went through a hard time at school and hard time growing up, and so he didn't want Sam to experience that same sort of hardship. But yeah, he adopted Sam, and just the pair are really amazingly written. So I love their dynamic. Yeah. And who else do I want to mention? I think I'd have to say, yeah, the three main characters. The first two I just mentioned of Sam and Junius, and then Shep, I believe I already mentioned her. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Okay, Shep, though, is a neighbor, or nearby, somebody who lives nearby, and she, I'm trying to remember, she's Latina, a person of color, and queer, and she has kind of a complicated relationship with her parents, and she's also still kind of grieving her grandmother's death, so a lot going on with her, as she helps Sam try to uncover more details on Billy's death. And Billy is the kid who was living in the house when and died in the house that Sam and Junius are now living in. But yeah, so I really like Shep. She's awesome in how supportive she is, and how loyal to her friends, and just how she dives into supporting whatever her friends say they need, you know. So she's really cool. And who else? There are a lot of other characters, and I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to like keep up with each of them and go like, okay, I know who this is as I'm reading it. Because there were a decent amount of names, but I feel like each of them made sense, you know. They each had a role in the story. I don't think there was any that was like, it didn't feel like too much. I was able to kind of sink into the story and go like, yes, this feels like there's a community here, and I really enjoyed that aspect. And what else? Oops, gotta put some hair in my eye. Alright, I should probably check my notes. This is one of the few times where I actually have my notes written down, but it's not yet on Instagram because I forgot to take the photo of the book cover. So I'll probably post that sometime soon. I don't know. Yeah, I already posted a review to Goodreads Goodreads and Amazon, because those don't require a photo. But I'll want a photo for Instagram, so I can post the review there. And I say review, but I guess these aren't really book reviews as much as they're book praises, I think. That's kind of how I view it as, because I feel like in my position as an author, I don't want to bash anybody's book, you know? Everybody has different reading preferences. So anything I publish online about my own personal opinion, it's gonna be positive, you know? Unless it's about a book that's like, or an author that's, you know, problematic. But if it's just like a difference of opinion of like, I didn't vibe with this book, I'm not gonna say anything about it, you know? Because I just don't feel like that's my place, you know? And like, authors can do whatever they want. I'm not gonna bash other authors for how they rate books or how they review books, you know? This is just my personal way of how I feel comfortable doing it. Let's see. Oh yeah, the actual parts about the mystery. I feel like honestly the representation is really what made me feel so at home in the story. So that's, I think, why I talked about that so much. But yes, there is an actual mystery that happens. And everything wraps up nicely at the end. I really appreciated that. I didn't feel like there was anything that didn't make sense. In fact, actually, what is revealed that happened made so much sense that I can't believe I didn't see it coming until it was revealed. I feel like I should have known better, but I guess it was just the book did a good job of like putting suspicion in any possible corner. That I guess I just went along for the ride without seeing what was actually going to happen, you know, or without predicting what was actually going to happen. So I really enjoyed that. The ending wrapped up really nicely. And I think there's not much I can say about that without spoiling, so I'm just gonna kind of say it was good, you know. The mystery element felt good. It felt like it was the story had a good amount of both, like, that mystery element being there, but also the rest of Sam's life being intertwined with it, you know. And of course there was this ever-present kind of fear or kind of doubt in Sam's mind about whether they would reach adulthood, because their birthday was coming up, and they, considering just how much time they put into learning about all these kids and teenagers who didn't make it to adulthood, and after that previous time, that hate crime that they experienced, Sam was kind of thinking, oh gosh, what if this is a warning, you know, and I'm not gonna make it to adulthood. And so, yeah, I feel like the mystery just wraps well with, like, what's going on with Sam's life. I have to be careful not to spoil because I almost spoiled something. What can I say about that? I guess just things start happening that start to concern the adults around Sam. So, like, their father and also, like, the school staff. And Sam is actually starting to find a bit of a home here. And so they don't want to leave again. Even though it seems like the more that they dig into what happened to Billy, the more that someone doesn't want them to know what happened to Billy. So, mysterious. So, yeah. And I also like there's a little bit of an element of coincidence in there that's pointed out, that every so often something kind of happens that it could be based on Sam's intuition, or it could be like a little bit of a paranormal element in there of like is it Sam's intuition that guided them to like figuring out this thing, or did like Billy's ghost maybe help out a little bit? So it's fun. I like that. I've basically said everything that I was gonna say. I'm looking the wrong place. Like, yeah, I think I said basically everything I was gonna say, so, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any stray thoughts that I missed in the review, because sometimes when I'm writing those, later on, like when I'm doing these videos, I realize, oh yeah, I forgot to write that down. But I think I don't know, I think my thoughts are fairly concise on this book. Yeah. Just, I enjoyed it, and I feel like it's, like, if you're looking for, just generally more diversity representation, like, particularly of, that is queer, and or autistic, I would recommend this book. It's got that fun little bit of mystery in it while being a contemporary, so it feels very rooted to modern day reality, while also having a little bit of, like, I don't know, just like a little bit something extra with that mystery sort of thriller aspect in it. So, yeah, I think I had a good time reading this book. And when I was, let's see, I think I was about 60% through the book, if I remember right, when I decided, yep, I think I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find a stopping point. I'm just going to read through the rest of this book in one sitting. And I did. So, that's what happened on that night. Yeah, it was night. I finished the book at about 3 a.m. or so, I think. It was worth it, though. I liked that the ending wrapped up, because I knew I would have dreams about it if I didn't try to figure out, or if I didn't figure out what was actually going on in the book. So I wanted to just learn about it and not have my dreams, like, muddle up my memory. So, yeah. Alright. I think I'll go ahead and let you go then. Thank you so much for listening. You are an awesome listener. And I hope that wherever you go next, or whatever you do next, it's relaxing and or fun and or worthwhile, you know? If it's all three, that's even better. So, okay. Thank you again for listening. I fumbled my words a little bit there. Thank you again for listening. There we go. And yeah, bye.